At the end of 2024, I stopped using the app Runna, having had an annual subscription which got me new personal bests across 10K, half marathon and full marathon distances. I made my most successful video to date, which went through my reasons for not renewing Runna. I'll link to that video in the description and at the end of the video if you fancy watching it. So far in 2025, without using Runna, I have continued to get new PBs, including a new 5K PB, breaking 20 minutes for the first time in my life in March at the Podium 5K Festival, following a specific training plan for that goal that I purchased through Training Peaks. I smashed my half marathon PB by almost 7 minutes at the Hackney Half Marathon in May, following a training plan by the free app Kip Run Pacer from Decathlon. And most recently, I knocked 80 seconds off my 10K PB at the end of June, and the following week in early July, going sub 20 for the second time and setting another new 5K PB by following no specific training plan at all. But despite all those positive experiences so far in 2025, I've decided to give Runna another go. And in this video, I'll talk about why. About a month after publishing my video about stopping using Runna, one of their developers reached out to me asking if I would be interested in a conversation to dig a little bit deeper into my experiences using the app in 2024. Being totally honest, I was a bit reluctant and it actually took me a few months to agree to it, but eventually I agreed to a chat, which happened about 3 months ago. Nath, one of the developers from Runna, and I chatted for about an hour, and he was incredibly interested in my experiences and my feedback in using the app, which was a little bit more of a deep dive on some of the topics that I raised during my video from January. Those topics were Runna's goal time versus reality, Runna's AI, stagnation, missing features, and cost. I'm not going to deep dive into each of those points in this video. I'm mainly going to focus on two, which are my main reasons for returning to using Runna, at least for the remainder of 2025. The first of those is Runna's goal time versus reality. In 2024, I missed my Runna marathon goal times by about 30 minutes, not once, but twice. I felt that the Runna goal times were too aggressive, and across the marathon distance, I sort of still hold that view, but has become a little bit more balanced over time. The mellowing of my viewpoint here is more about my own research and subsequent experience, more than anything that Runna and I discussed. Discussing this topic on the Runna subreddit was the first thing that actually made me broaden my view on this. When I posed the question, how have people performed against their Runna race predictions, I was expecting the vast majority of responses to mirror my experience. I was gearing up to make a video on the topic. However, the responses were much more 50-50, possibly actually favouring those who had actually achieved their predictions across all distances, which made me reevaluate my view. Rather than the video I originally planned to make, this topic then inspired my Testing Race Predictions video series, my second most popular ever videos, where I tested myself against race predictions from Garmin, Strava and Runna across the 5K, 10K and half marathon distances. Bearing in mind I wasn't an active Runna user at the time, I was just going on the basis of their race predictions based on my recent personal bests, which I was still able to generate. So it was the prediction these apps felt I could achieve on that day, rather than a hypothetical one in 16 or so weeks' time after following a full training plan. Across each distance, I got either very close to or beat the Runna prediction. So while I wouldn't say my previously held view was wrong, and I'm still yet to retest on the marathon distance, where I think there are many more factors at play, I've come around to the idea that the predictions aren't complete crap. The next point I want to visit is the biggest one for me, and that is on the subject of missing features. Out of all the points I made in my last Runna video, this is the one that, to be honest, even on its own, has made me curious about changes to Runna since I left, and Nath led me through some of the improvements during our call. The key feature that was missing for me in 2024 that I highlighted in my previous video was B races. I did so many B races in 2024 in my preparation for my marathons, but I had to shoehorn them into my training or try to find a race that would kind of fit with what my plan had on that week. While I predominantly made it work, it wasn't ideal. Something else that wasn't ideal was that my training plan didn't adapt in the build up to or the recovery from these B races. Runna now has B race integration, and from what I have seen, not only does it allow you to add them into your plan, it also asks you how you're going to approach the race, with either running for fun, running strong and steady, or going all out, and makes amendments to your A race training plan to compensate. I can't tell you how massive, if that feature works, that will be. I have 2 marathons in the diary before the end of 2025, Amsterdam in October and Valencia in December. I want one training plan for both races. I want Amsterdam to be a casually paced run for fun B race to help me prepare for a harder going all out effort in Valencia in December. I am really pinning my hopes that this feature works well. The other feature that Nath ran me through and I'm keen to utilise is the increase in flexibility around training volume and difficulty of your plan. 2024 was by quite some distance the biggest running year of my life, and being honest, in the latter weeks of my second marathon plan of 2024, I was beginning to feel a bit burnt out. I could make minor adjustments to my plan, but I didn't feel the options went far enough, and they felt like they were still, to a degree, dare I say it, a little bit aggressive. This is another complaint you will regularly see directed at Runna in forums and on social media, sometimes being accused of leading users to injury. I wouldn't say that that was my personal perspective or experience, but I can see why people may have that view. That being said, you can now set your plan volume to either gradual, steady, or challenging, as well as having more advanced customizations around the maximum distance for your runs. You can also set the difficulty to comfortable, balanced, or challenging, with more customization around the volume of hard runs, their difficulty, and the structure of long runs, as well as their difficulty. Personally, I think this sounds really positive and hopefully addresses some of those criticisms. On a personal level, I'm just coming back to running after almost 2 months on the shelf, having torn a couple of ankle ligaments, so I'm looking for my plan up to Amsterdam to be lots of comfortable pacing with very few hard efforts. Once I get my strength and endurance back a bit, post-Amsterdam, all being well, I'll likely adjust my plan to begin factoring in some harder efforts. And I'm really hoping these new training preferences will allow me to do that. I'll be making a video all about me setting up my plan for the rest of the year, so get subscribed to see that and the other videos I make about my returning to using Runna. These videos, like this one, will be my completely honest point of view. I did explore and was offered the opportunity to be a Runna affiliate, but I ultimately decided against that route, so there won't be any codes from me for a free trial or anything like that, so apologies if that is something that you were looking for. But for absolute transparency, Nath from Runna has given me free access to Runna for me to be able to test out some of the new features I've mentioned in this video and for my marathon training, but I have no agreement with them restricting what videos I make or what I say. So hopefully you found this video useful. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to see my other upcoming videos on Runna, and I'll see you next time.